Good evening, ladies as well as gentlemen. My name is Boris, and I am glad that you are back with me for part 4 of our Primordia playthrough. In case it's been a while since you watched the previous video, we just arrived in Metropole, the city of glass and light, having failed to find a power source, or something that would enable us to make a power source, back out there in the dunes. So with no options and no plan, we have come to this city, which Crispin's very excited about, but our protagonist Horatio, in his core logic, for reasons he doesn't know, hates. Well, let's go ahead and get into this city and see what we find. As always, let's make sure we click on everything.
It's no longer operational. This is no time for sitting around.
I love that phrase.
Boss, is that really Metropole out there?
It must be.
But it's so brown.
I'd say it's more red than brown.
Whatever it is, it brings new meaning to rust and ruin. Boss, the energy sensor is going crazy.
It's coming from the top of that tower.
Boss? Is it supposed to be doing that?
Assad,
Well, at least we know there's a lot of power in that tower, right?
let's go find out.
Welcome to Metropole, the city of glass and light.
Can you tell me?
This one is not programmed to respond to queries. Welcome to Metropole, the city of glass and light. Metromine greets you with open arms and the promise of energy and shelter. You are safe. Records indicate an outstanding assessment of 5 megacycles. 1 megacycle will now be redeemed.
What did you just do to him?
This one is not programmed to respond to queries. Unauthorized literature detected.
Let go of him. Hey!
All contraband has been removed. You are safe.
Boss? Boss, this is getting to be a bad habit. Are you okay?
I'm fine. My optical sensors went haywire for a minute. What happened?
Well, that robot threw your gospel off the bridge. And then it said, "Welcome to Metropole." Again. And that Metromind wishes us a pleasant stay. Then he left.
Assad.
On the upside, he gave us back the power core.
He did?
No.
Crispin, the next thing that's getting thrown off this bridge is you.
Good thing I have a hover unit.
Let's go find a way into that tower. We'll deal with this Metromine later.
Okay, so we are not off to a particularly auspicious beginning, having been, I don't know what that was, electro-stun paralyzed by some mysterious robot who also threw away our Gospel of Man, calling it unauthorized literature. But at least, and also we lost our power sensor, but hey, at least we know where the power core probably is. It's probably in that tower.
Quite a tower.
Quite a tower indeed, so let's go see if we can find a way in there. Probably won't be quite so easy, but hey, might as well try.
Hey, Tyra, over here.
Alright, so here we are on one of the main streets.
Can't you see I'm trying to spin down?
All storage bladders empty.
I guess that's a good thing.
So you can click on all these robots. They don't really do much.
Boss, even if there's some code to crack here so that we can understand what it's saying, I propose we just ignore it. Maybe, for once, the other robot can figure out how to communicate with us.
Agreed.
Funny. Okay, well, let's go ahead and talk to this robot here, who's the only one calling out to us.
Hey, Tyro, you blow in off the dudes?
Tyro?
Prefer a newbie, huh? Look, let me tell you how it is.
How about you don't? I've had enough of this city already. All I want is my property back and a ticket home.
Ticket home? Fat chance, Tyro. Anyway, listen up. You want to sell yourself to Metro Mine? Go ahead. You want to trade that junk you brought in from the dunes? Leopold's your man. That floater there, I'll give you something special for him.
How special?
He's not for sale. The only thing you might have that I want is information.
Well, you know what they say. Talk's cheap. Ask away.
So this shady character is surprisingly generous, being willing to talk to us for free. And it also seems like there's someone called Metromind running this city. So let's go ahead and find out about this Metromind entity first.
Who is Metromine?
Who is Metromine? Russ Dan Bruin. You are Tyro. Metromine? Well, Metromine is Metropole. Runs everything now. What with the council shut down?
Council?
Sure. A bunch of primordial machines. Arbiter enforced them, or warriors kept the records. Big old factor built just about everything from down in the underworks. And, well, there's another one, I think. Don't even remember his name. And Metromine, of course. She used to run the trains, but now she's got the whole show.
Where can I find her?
Like I said, Tyro, she is the city. So you found her already. Probably locked yourself to her just to get here. Anyway, if she wants to talk to you again, you'll know.
Okay, let's pause there. When we were talking with ever-faithful Leobilt and reading the Gospel of Man, there was mention made that the last lost city of Metropole had 5 stewards that were built by man, and that is probably this council that Leopold just told us about. So there was Arbiter, who did the law. There was Metromind, who ran the trains. There was Factor, who built everything. Memorius kept the records. That's 4. And then there's a 5th one that Leopold can't remember who it was. But the council seems to have been, according to Leopold, the council was disbanded, and now Metromind runs everything. So there's a little vein of intrigue running through this city already. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit more to Leopold and see what else we can glean from him.
I was robbed when I came off the train. Some robot paralyzed me and stole my Gospel of Man.
Careful there, Tyro. If you read the rules, you'd have known Metromine don't take kindly to superstition. Under the refuge rule, you got 2 days to talk about make-believe man all you want. But actual writing about man, that gets tossed to the underworks with the rest of the trash and trouble.
How can I get it back?
Ha! You're risking inhibitor flaking on you, Tyro? You'd have to do some digging down in the underworks, which ain't exactly easy. Then, even if you find it, you'll just be sticking your finger in Metromine's socket. Like I said, she got no time for heretics, lunatics, and the like.
How about quick-witted levitators?
Don't think she cares for them either.
Okay, so our Gospel of Man, if we ever want to get that back, we're going to have to go to some place called the Underworks, which sounds dangerous and seedy. And this also makes clear that man, with a capital M, is a religion of some kind among robots, and as we can see here, not all robots believe in it. Metromind, who runs the city of Metropole, doesn't believe in this man business one bit. So does that mean that they don't believe in humans? Or that they don't believe in the mythical man with a capital M? Well, that's a fine distinction we'll have to wait on a little bit.
I'm looking for my power core. It was stolen from my ship, the Unique, and I think it's being kept in that tower over there.
Great tower to me. Sure, this probably in there, along with all the other generators, reactors, and cores that keep the lights on.
How can I get it back?
If Metromine took it, you don't, Tyro. Her word is law. Arbiter's the only one who ever could have said otherwise. He's been gone a long time. Getting to the courthouse, maybe you can plead your case. After half a dozen other folks took their turns, that is. But you can't. The old judge locked it up tight. And who's to say you'll win, huh? My advice?
I don't want your advice. I want my power core.
Well then, good luck to you.
Okay, so our power core has been taken by Metromind, and according to Leopold here, the only way that we can get it back is by pleading a case before Arbiter, who was the former councilman who was in charge of the law. But the courthouse is closed, and there's a line to get in, so that's not going to be an easy path. Still, that is one option that we've now been told exists. Let's go ahead and ask Leopold some other questions.
I'm looking for a big robot. It floats and has large claws and shoots lasers. Have you seen it? It stole something of mine.
Sounds like Scraper to me.
Scraper?
Worked for Metromine even before she ran the show. He was the one that blasted out the train tunnels under the city.
Where can I find him?
Now, how would I know that? That one goes where he wants. Maybe the Great Tower, maybe the tunnels, who knows? But I wouldn't go picking trouble with him, Tyro. Those lasers scraper used for cutting granite can slice up that tin shell you're wearing like nothing.
Here, here.
I'll keep that in mind.
Hey, well, we figured out who Big Ugly was. It's a robot named Scraper who works for, surprise, surprise, Metromind, who's now more and more likely becoming our main antagonist in this story.
How do I get into the tower?
You don't. Council members only. And the only ones still clicking are Metromind and Arbiter. And let me tell you, neither of them is one for bending the rules.
Okay, so if we want to get into the tower, the only way that we can do that is, you know, by being one of the council members or by getting them to let us in, which at the moment seems pretty unlikely.
What are the underworks?
A whole mess of junkyards, canals, factories, smelters, bazaar, every kind of heavy machinery, all beneath the streets. Old factor ran the place. Built just about everything in Metropole down there.
Ran the place. Who's in charge now?
Nobody. Not since Metroman pulled the plug on Factor. Whole place is full of junk and full of trouble. Were from the ladder, I'd have picked a clean.
Well, boss, at least we can scratch one detour off our list. Seen one junk pile, seen them all.
Now, this was very interesting, the mention that Leopold made earlier, that that Metromind, the ruler of the city, doesn't take to superstition, aka humanism, aka the belief in the perfect machine, man. So let's ask a little bit more about that.
You don't believe in humanism?
If you asking whether I believe in man, the answer's no. And you better not either. Not if you want to stay here.
But how can you not believe in man?
I'm a progressive, Tyro. I believe in progress. Us robots improve ourselves. And that's how it's always been. First, there was a basic machine. And bit by bit, bite by bite, the machine built itself into all this. You and me and that little floater of yours, we're all cogs in that same machine. And that's all there is.
Very interesting.
Tell me about Arbiter.
He's a member of the council. Heard he used to fight with Metromind day and night. Ran the courts, but used to, back when we had him. One day he just sent his good clarity down to the underworks and closed up shop. Ever since, Metromind says what the law is.
How long ago was that?
Who's counting?
Wow, this is definitely seeming more and more like a dystopia here in Metropole. Not at all the bright place that Crispin had us believe.
Tell me about Clarity.
Clarity was one of Arbiter's law clerks. Real cool and calculating, that one. Once heard say that a robot should have his recharge port viewed just cause he'd stolen power from Metromind. Anyway, word was she got in some kind of fight with the old judge and he sent her down to the underworks. Guess she's still down there stewing.
Who are you?
Name's Leo. Leopold Steeplebill. Version 7. You?
Horatio No Build, version 5. And this is Crispin Horatio Build, version 1.
Leopold? Hey, you didn't build a lunatic named Ever Faithful, did you?
Do I look like I'd build someone named Ever Faithful Crispin? Crispin?
So the reason that Crispin's asking about Ever Faithful is we just learned from this exchange the naming convention for robots. It's the first name, whatever it is, and then the last name is X built, where X is the person who built that robot. So Crispin is Crispin Horatio built because Horatio built him. Now that Ever Faithful robot that we saw out in the dunes, the religious one who was guarding the bombs and who quizzed us in the Catechism of Man, his name was Ever Faithful Leo built, and this robot that we're talking with here is Leopold. But he, despite being a Leo, denies having built Ever Faithful. Let's go ahead and antagonize him a little bit about that.
Are you sure you don't know a robot named Ever Faithful? He called himself Leo Build.
I'm a peddler, Tyro, not a builder.
Alright, fair enough. Let's go ahead and see what he's selling.
What are you selling?
Bartering, not selling. Metromind don't tax barter. Not yet, anyway. Come take a look.
We have quite the assortment of things here. Let's go ahead and inspect them, see if any of them are useful, and see if there's any that we could trade for.
A binary abacus. Finest calculating instrument.
I'm fairly certain that my math coprocessor is superior.
Ah, good spot there, Tyro. She's a fine microfuse.
What's the catch?
Well, she's drained.
I guess that makes it free of charge.
Ho!
This here's a tape measure.
Ooh, get it, boss, get it!
Why do we need a tape measure?
So I can finally determine my circumference.
Tyro, I'm gonna do us all a favor and not trade you this one.
Ha ha ha. Let's see what else we got.
Hey, look, boss, it's a glass finger. If we got 5 of them, I could have a hand.
What would you do with a glass hand?
What wouldn't I do?
You want it? You're gonna need to bring me a glass thumb.
Oh, go wipe yourself.
Lol.
This is a Sterling air motor.
Would it help me fly?
Nope.
Then we don't need it.
That there's an old Nova Robotics subsystem coil.
Not interested.
Okay, so far this has all been whiffs here. Let's see if there's anything actually useful.
Boss, is that another battery?
Looks like it.
Finest AA battery you'll ever see. May as well call it AAA, it's so fine.
Wow, that would have been useful to have before I went rummaging around a pile of tires in the junk pile. Now, not so much.
One fine motor you spotted there, Tyro. Foreign built, out of Savitas. Can't do better. But if you can find a bigger one, let's talk.
Alright, so there's just some other city, or at least there was some other city named Savitas, which is where this motor comes from. That crowbar looks pretty sweet.
That's a fine tool. Got a half-life of 1,000 years, guaranteed.
I'm not sure you know what half-life means.
You want it or not, I'll trade it to you for something shiny.
Okay, so we can get that crowbar if we get something shiny. We can get this motor if we get a bigger motor. Okay.
That servo unit is hopelessly broken.
It just needs a little fixing up, Tyro.
I don't think so.
That's a water chip. Scavenger brought it in from the dunes. I'll trade it for a gag.
A what?
Never mind. We don't need water, let alone a water chip.
Alright, that was a Fallout and Fallout 2 reference for those of you who are too young to have played those games.
Now that's a nice one. It's called a memory access device. Lets you pull memories out of just about anything.
What do you want for it?
Got a customer looking for something real antique and fancy. Find me that, you got yourself a deal.
Memory access device, that sounds pretty handy, but we don't have anything antique and fancy at the moment, so we're gonna have to hold off on that one for a little bit.
That old boy is a plug board, a bread board.
I know what it is.
Well, okay then. Bring me something that'll cover her face and it's yours.
Good idea, Leopold. You'd look much better with a mask.
Watch yourself, prisoner.
Anyway, we don't have time to go around building circuit boards.
Famous last words, boss.
Alright, Horatio, or Horace, doesn't seem to be too interested in that. So, we don't really have anything, and we can look in our inventory. We don't have anything antique and fancy. We don't have anything shiny. We don't have a bigger motor. So yeah, we're kind of stumped here, but hey, this has given us quite a bevy of things to potentially trade for later as the game goes on. Alright, let's go ahead and keep on moving down the street.
It's too heavy for me to lift. It looks like this metal disc is covering something.
Right, Tyro. Down there's the ladder to the underworks.
Hey Armstrong, top me off, will you?
Okay, so we need to pry up this metal plate in order to make it down to the underworks. How about plasma torch?
It's too thick to cut with the plasma torch. I'll need something stronger to get through that way.
Alright, no, we're not. Plasma torch is not gonna work. Looks like we're gonna have to get that crowbar from Leopold and trade him something shiny for it if we want to get down through this metal plate. Ooh, information. Let's see what we got here.
Who knew some place could be so lively and so depressing all at once?
There we go. So this is pretty cool. Let's see what kind of information we can dig out of this kiosk. Metromind welcomes you to her city of Metropole. The city is a safe haven for all machines. System records indicate that you have come from Outskirts Station. All newcomers are required to familiarize themselves with local laws. You may also be interested in history and landmarks. Well, let's take a look at the laws. Ooh, a printout. How quaint.
Hey, look, something came out of the machine.
Metropolitan law is too vast for an ordinary robot to learn in full, but Metromind ensures that it is applied efficiently and fairly. Newcomers to the city should familiarize themselves with the corrupt data elimination plan and the refuge rule, as well as the efficiency initiative. Well, let's take a look at all these things, because that might come in handy. Corrupt data elimination plan. In order to protect the city from corrupt data, Metromind and the Ad Hoc Robot Council passed the CDAP, under which all information relating to certain untrue subjects, such as the mythological man, is subject to swift elimination. Physical media containing such data will be disposed of in the Underworks quarantine zone. Well, that explains why our Gospel of Man was grabbed by that robot and tossed down into the Underworks, where we'll probably never find it. Let's go ahead and check out the refuge rule. Immediately following the Primordia, Metropole enacted the Refuge Rule, under which any robot is welcome in the city. In fact, for the first 48 hours after a robot arrives in Metropole, it will not be punished for violations of any laws, except for harming another robot or causing significant property damage. The purpose of this law is to provide an integration period during which newcomers can make whatever modifications are necessary to operate within metropolitan society. Okay, so this explains why our Gospel of Man was taken from us and why we were just temporarily shocked as opposed to outright kicked out of the city. And what was the other thing? An efficiency initiative? No, that wasn't it. Let's go ahead and look back here. Ah, yes, efficiency initiative. The Efficiency Initiative was enacted by Metromind following a period of power shortages caused by systemic failures of city planning. Metromind reorganized the city along progressive ideals, there's that word progress again, closing off entire areas and consolidating the population in the city center. Moreover, Metromind identified and eliminated wasteful practices and inefficient robots. In order to show his commitment to the common good, Factor volunteered to deactivate himself. Well, that's a bit of a contradiction to what Leopold said, which is that Metromind pulled the plug on Factor. And many similarly obsolete robots followed suit. Since the initiative was enacted, power levels have been stable, but Metromind is always looking for progressive means of improving efficiency, such as stealing my frickin' power core. Well, now I'm definitely interested to learn about Metromind. Leopold said that there was a council before she took over everything, so let's see what we can learn about the council. So the Robot Council was an ad hoc group of machines who convened to appoint a single robot to guide the city's progress. Its president was Metromind. The other members included Arbiter, Factor, and Memorius. Once it vested sole responsibility in Metromind, the body dissolved. Okay. Now, you'll remember, Leopold said that the council consisted of 5 people: Metromind, Factor, Arbiter, Memorius, and one other person whom Leopold can't remember who it was. So, we're still actually... It's interesting, this kiosk doesn't seem entirely trustworthy. It's also not mentioning the same person that Leopold couldn't remember. Also, this kiosk claims that Metromind was the president of the council, but Leopold never told us that. It sounded like back when the council existed, everybody in it was an equal. So definitely Metromind seems to be rewriting some of the information in this kiosk to suit her own ends. Let's go ahead and look her up. Metromind is the guide, guardian, and eponym of Metropole, empowered by the ad hoc robot council to steer the city towards progress and a bright future. Metromind has led with great efficiency and clear logic. She shares energy, parts, and raw materials with all robots, asking only that they share processor cycles in exchange to help advance the common good. Thanks to Metromind, the city has followed an unbroken path to progress. Yeah, now I'm really beginning to question the objectivity of this kiosk, but at least it's giving us information about, Metromind's propaganda and what she thinks of herself or wants other people to think of her. Or other robots, I should say. So let's go ahead and read about the other members of the council here. So let's see who it was. We had Factor, Arbiter, Memorius, and then one mystery person, which we still need to figure out who that is. A machine of enormous size and productive capacity, Factor spanned much of the underworks before being shut down to conserve power for his fellow machines. Factor was a member of the council that appointed Metromind to lead Metropole. Yeah, right. Fully one half of the post-primordial robots in Metropole are Factor-built models. Let's take a quick detour here. Look up Primordial. The Primordium was the historical age when basic machines developed into modern robots with advanced logic and processing capacity. Little is known about this period, though archaeotechnologists seek to uncover its secrets in the name of progress. Primordium can be used to describe any period of great advancement. So this is denying any existence of humans whatsoever, making us wonder if this world is either one where humans lived so long ago that they've been forgotten to the point of disbelief, or whether the humans existed and then now the robots dispute among themselves whether that the existence of the humans was real or not. But either way, it seems like humans are definitely gone from this world now, and if anything, they were around a very, very long time ago. Okay, let's go back to reading about the council. So, Memorius. Memorius was a database AI responsible for collating information for Metromind's use. As Metromind's own processing capacity increased, Memorius shifted to a purely storage role. His motto was, "See this data as I saw it." This kiosk is his only remnant. So it looks like Metromind had a little hobby of shutting down the other members of the council until she became the president. Finally, let's read about Arbiter. A rather simple machine built to resolve basic legal questions, Arbiter briefly served on the council that appointed Metromind to lead Metropole. He has not judged any cases for a long time, likely out of deference to Metromind's superior capacity to guide and apply the city's law. Well, that's laying it on a little bit thick, so something's very, very wrong with this picture. Now, Leopold also mentioned one of Arbiter's clerks, Clarity, who has supposedly been sent away to the Underworks. Let's go ahead and see who she was. Clarity and Charity Arbiter built. These twin robots were built to serve as law clerks to Arbiter, the former chief judge of Metropole. Neither has been seen in a long time. It is thought that Clarity engaged in some manner of crime and for that reason is hiding in the Underworks. I doubt it. Okay, so there's more things that we could read here. We could read about the history of Metropole. Metropole was built in layers by primordial robots, each generation improving on the last in an endless train of progress. At one time, the city was governed by a council, but by mutual agreement, which I doubt, sole power was bestowed upon Metromind, for whom the city is now named. Well, that's not a super accurate history. Hopefully we can find a more accurate one as time goes on. Let's take a look at the landmarks as well. In order to conserve energy and improve efficiency, only the city center is now accessible to metropolitan robots. Here one can find the famed Council Tower rising high above Metropole, the old courthouse, and the historic Central Station, as well as Metropole's main street. For safety's sake, do not enter the Underworks. Okay, well we're coming up on 30 minutes, so this was a fairly world-building heavy and dialogue-laden video, but we learned a lot. So Metropole is a bit of a dystopia here, where apparently there was a council of robots that Metromind somehow managed to dissolve and claim all power for herself. She's rewritten history in a very 1984 style way. And what's really interesting is actually that, according to Metromind, this now leader of the city, humans never existed. There was no such thing as humans at any point. It was all just machines evolving upon machines. I'm not sure if the makers of this game are like trying to make a point about religion, or if they're for it or against it, but the parallels are definitely quite interesting. In any case, let's actually grab this printout, which I believe gives us information about the law.
The Law in You, a Metropolitan Guide.
Yeah,
it's written by Clarity Arbiter built.
She sounds like a cool lady. Anyway, we have a little handout for the law there, but now at this point we're going to have to do some more exploring around the city to see if we can find a way into the tower, to see if we can find a way into to get our power core. That's not likely to happen. We could try to find a way into the courthouse, which is closed and has a long line, to see if we can go through Arbiter, the former council member, to get our power core back that way. And the Underworks have been clearly pointed out to us as an area that we should consider exploring at some point, because Clarity Arbiter built. Her Arbiter's clerk is down there, our Gospel of Man might be down there, and some other things as well. Alright, so thanks so much for watching this video. We'll resume the action in the next one, and I'll see you then.